Last part of the beauty retouching series. In the first part of the series, what we did was clean up the hair, and clean up the background. The second part, we cleaned up the skin. The third part, we did global dodge and burn, to get our image to where it is right now. So I'll quickly show you guys the before and the after of our image. This is the before, this is where we started, and this is the after. This is what our image looks like. That is quite a huge leap from where we started. Now in this part of the what we're going to do is color grade this image and just fix up a few other things like Liquify and maybe some touch-ups here and there, and just have the image looking perfect and ready to go. So the first thing I want to do is show you guys how I typically color grade, and I use my skin tone LUTs. After that, we'll do it manually, right? So typically I already have like a color grade that I use for this image, so I'll just create like my color lookup, come to my 3D LUT, and I'll probably like just pick 10 and from my skin tone LUTs for light skin tone, and probably just reduce the opacity for that somewhere like here. So let's see the before. After, as you can see, it's warmer, it has some more oomph to it, so basically it just has some more contrast to it, and I absolutely love it. And then I'll pick another LUT and maybe use my natural skin tone LUT 6, and what this does is that it just reduces everything, just makes it like more even, and put both of them in a group. And let's see before and after. As you can see, that's typically like how I'll color grade this image. Just quickly get out the way, move to the next image that I'm retouching, and that's about it. But let's say we want to do this manually and get something similar. What I'm going to do is just come to my selective color, and here in my selective color, I'll just turn off my invert check layer, or maybe just take it off so it doesn't confuse anybody. So here in my selective color, the first thing I want to do is mess with my blacks and just add some contrast to it. And then you have a few things going on here. You have your cyans, you have your magentas, and you have your yellows. And the way this works basically is if I reduce my cyans, then I'll add more red to my image. If I increase it, then I'll add more cyans to my image, right? So I'm just going to change that to 0 right here. And the same thing with my magentas. If I reduce it, I add more greens. If I increase it, I add more magentas. Switch it to 0. And same thing with my yellows. If I reduce it, I add like more blues to my image, and if I increase it, I add more yellows to my image. So now I'm just going to click 0. So for this image, what I'm going to do, another thing I forgot to tell you guys is that I am working in my reds, and you can work with your reds, your yellows. Basically, those are the two places where you have the color of your skin tones, right? So right now what I'm going to do is just increase my cyans just a little bit. You have to be like really careful when you're working with skin tones, because every tiny adjustment you make actually makes it different. Maybe just add like a little magenta to it, and here it depends on what I want to do really. Maybe I'll just add some yellows, just make it like really warm. So this is before and this after. As you can see, it looks a lot more contrasty and it looks really warm. Now to actually balance that out, one thing that I would do is come to my photo filter, and I always love using the cooling filter 82. It looks really cool. Then just reduce the opacity and put it right here. So let's put both of them in a group and name our group color grade. Okay, great. Now we have both in a group color grade, and this looks absolutely stunning right now. We have gotten our color grade to look really, really good. So I'm just going to zoom out, show you guys the before and the after. You can see, zoom in, show you guys the before and the after. Okay, great. So now that we've sorted that out, one thing that I want to do is, maybe if I want to add some more contrast to it, I'm just going to show you guys how to do that. If you want to add more contrast to it, what you're going to do is just create a gradient map, make sure it's this way, and then change your blend mode to luminosity, reduce your opacity to match whatever you want, and this is about it. Typically maybe just take this down a little bit, because we're just trying to add like a little contrast. Like I said, every little thing you does actually goes a long way to affect your image, and we'll have our image looking nice and contrasted. This is just one look. You can decide to go whichever way you want, but this is the look that I am going for. So what I'm going to do is change the color on the background to neutral, because the background typically has some colors to it. So if you click on it, you can see that it has some reds. I'm going to change that. So now that I've created a hue saturation adjustment layer, what I'm going to do is come to select, and I'll select color range. And let's see now, because I have already selected color range in the past, this is what it looks like. But typically, it might not look like that, it might look like this. Just click on this color picker tool here and pick this color, and then you can click on the plus and pick a few other colors around and click OK. So what this will do is create a layer mask with the colors that you've picked. And if you click on the slash key on your keyboard, you can see what your layer mask looks like. So right now I'm just going to pick a brush, a soft brush. Flow is at 100, and I will just paint over just to cover any other places that shouldn't be selected. Okay, so we have our image properly maxed out right now. So it's masked, and what we're going to do is just turn that off. What we're going to do right now is just reduce our saturation, and we don't want any reds in our background. Let's go to our yellows and reduce our saturation too. We don't want any of that in our background. And maybe if there are other ones like magentas, we don't want any magentas in our background. We want it to look really nice and clean. Blues, do we have any blues? Now we just want like a very neutral background there, and that's what we have right now. So look at that before, look at that after. We have a pretty neutral background. I'm pretty sure some of you guys will say I did not reduce the greens. Maybe I should go reduce that too, but if you do, I mean, I might as well have just reduced the whole saturation. But typically I just do the reds and the yellows, and if I have magentas there, then I'll take that out. Okay, great. So this right now is the color grade to our image. As you can see, it just looks blur and it looks flat. That's how it looked before, and now it has some kick to it, and it looks absolutely beautiful, right? Has some kick to it. Looks gorgeous, looks beautiful. The next thing I want to do is create a stamp visible layer, and after creating a stamp visible layer, what I am going to do is go to my filter, then I'll go to Liquify. And with Liquify, you have to be really careful. By the end of the day, this is like really subjective. It just depends on what you want to do. So I might as well just reduce the size here, neck, maybe bring this down just a tad bit, reduce this, and maybe her face, because I shot with 100 mm. I reduce the face width and maybe like the jawline just a little bit, and just fix this part of the hair. I don't like how that looks right there. I don't like how it's coming in, so maybe just fix that part of the hair. Make it go inside just a tad bit, maybe this side too. Drop it down here so it has like a curve to it when it's fallen in. Okay, great, that looks good. Is there any other thing I want to do with this? The lips too. Yes, I remember us talking about the lips and how I was going to make that part of the lip smaller, maybe like increase this part of the lip just a little bit, right? Then you can always come here and make the lower lip bigger and make the upper lip bigger if you want to. Just it just depends. That's the way Liquify works. So you can make the nose smaller if you want to. I mean, you can go wild with Liquify and do whatever you want to do with Liquify. And this is what our before looked like, this is what after looks like. And I think that's enough. We have done quite enough here. So let's see our before. This is before. This is the image we started with, and this is after. I'm going to zoom in. I don't know if that makes a difference, but let's zoom inside and see. Before, this is what we started with, and now after, and this image looks absolutely gorgeous. So the last thing I'll do with this image is just save it. I feel like these files are like really heavy and it might not save, but I'll save this image, take it to Capture One, and in Capture One, what I'm going to do is add some grain to this image and have it looking good. But before we get to that point, I want to tell you guys about my skin tone lots and my Retouching Essentials pack. I have my Retouching Essentials pack, which is 14 amazing actions that help you retouch better and retouch faster. I also have my skin tone lots. Like I showed you guys, I used to color grade before showing you how to do it manually in this particular video, and that will help you get amazing skin tones for both light skin and dark skin tones. So definitely check it out. I'll put links in the description description below, and I'll put a card up here for anybody that wants to check it out. So definitely check that out. And if you purchase anything from my store, then you're directly supporting this channel, and I really appreciate all your support. So yeah, let's go straight into Capture One, and I'll show you how to add some grain to your image and maybe do 1 or 2 other things, who knows, to get your image looking stunning. So let's go into Capture One. Okay guys, so we are in Capture One now, and I just realized something real quick, right? Sometimes people do not like their images looking as toned as this looks. So to just make an adjustment for that, you can just come to your luma curves here in Capture One and just increase your luma curves, and the image goes back to looking as nice and as bright as you want it to look, but still like a lot better than, you know, like where we started from. Because this before, this right here is straight out of camera, and this is after. You can see like we've, you know, we've changed how the image looks, and it looks really beautiful right now. Right now, the other thing I do in Capture One typically is just add like a tubular grain or harsh grain to the image sometimes, and you can just zoom in to see the effect of that. Let me show you guys the before. So this is the before. What's that? Before, you can see nothing right there, and after, and it just adds like I don't know, like some, I wouldn't say sharpness, but it just looks really good. And if you decide to add some sharpening, then you can do that. You can just add some tiny sharpening to your image if you are interested in doing that. You know, somewhere around here, 75 works for me. And that's about it. That is everything. So this is our image. Let's see before this, straight out of camera. This is our Capture One adjustment, and this is our final retouched image. Looks stunning. You can decide to crop it if you want to. You know, a lot of people crop their work. I mean, when you shoot with like I think this was shot with like a Canon R5, let me be sure, because I did shoot with like a few cameras that day. Yes, this shot with the Canon R5. Then we can crop it in, maybe for Instagram. You can decide to do like a 4x5 crop for Instagram if you want to post this on Instagram and have it looking absolutely stunning and gorgeous. You know, can decide to crop even further depending on what we're using. Right there, looks gorgeous. Okay, great. Now typically, you know, I'll just leave the whole image. I'm one of those people that I like my images looking nice and full, so somewhere around here looks gorgeous. I don't like the space on top of the head, so right here looks absolutely gorgeous. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed this series, then definitely give this whole series a thumbs up, and stay tuned for more retouching series like this. Anyways, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day, guys. Peace out.